So arrival tawaf, which is the first tawaf when you perform, when you enter Makkah and you do, this is the arrival tawaf, what we call tawaful qudub. This has two important features in it, which I will show you in a minute. If you are doing the Umrah of the Hajj Tamattu, then this is an obligatory tawaf. Otherwise, it's a non-obligatory tawaf. But in either case, the two significant features are similar. When you do the first tawaf, whether this is a non-obligatory tawaf or an obligatory tawaf, two things are specific to this tawaf, and those two things are, number one is what we call al-ittiba'. Al-ittiba' is uncovering of the right shoulder. Okay. Normally this should be covered except in the first tawaf, the arrival tawaf. Second is what is called ramal. Ramal is not running, rather ramal is walking at a slightly faster pace, taking short, rapid steps. Okay. Many foolish people, they think that it's running, so they run and they push and hurt other people, and this is not permissible during the Hajj. Okay, now we go to the actual tawaf. This is the Kaaba. This is the tawaf line, though no physical line exists. There used to be a line, but they have removed that. So this is just an arbitrary line for the tawaf, and you can see that the Hajar Aswad is extending from the Hajar Aswad. That's Maqam Ibrahim. That's a person who is a symbolic person who is performing the Hajj. You approach the Hajar Aswad. The first thing you do is that you touch and kiss the Hajar Aswad, saying Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Okay, this is the thing you do if you are close enough to do these things. If you are not close enough to do this thing, so the ruling about Hajar Aswad is that you touch it, you say the takbir, and you kiss it. Okay. If you are away from Hajar Aswad at a distance that you cannot touch, in that case all you do is point towards the Hajar Aswad and say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Okay, you are starting the tawaf, only you point with your hand, you don't kiss your hand. Only an object has to touch the stone. If you have a stick or if your hand can reach and you are able to touch it, then you kiss it. Okay, you start the tawaf and you go around the Kaaba in this manner. This is the ramal. So the ramal is done only in the first 3 rounds. But I want to explain a couple of features in the round. So this round we would look at in 2-dimensional figure, an aerial view from the roof of the Kaaba. So you can see that the one corner this is Rukn Yamani, the left side, the right side is the Hajar Aswad. There is this semicircular wall beside Kaaba which is called Hatim. Okay, what I showed you earlier in the picture. The space between the Hatim and the Kaaba is called Hijr, or sometimes it's called Hijr Ismail, which has no basis. Some people say that Ismail's mother is buried there, which is has no proof or no basis for that. You start the tawaf from the corner of Hajar Aswad. The blue spot represents a person who's doing the tawaf. You go around the Kaaba, except that this tawaf is an invalid tawaf. Okay, because you have gone through the space between the Hijr, the Hatim and the Kaaba. Why this is invalid? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says وَلْيَطَّوَّفُوا بِالْبَيْتِ الْعَتِيقِ, that go round the Kaaba, do the tawaf of the ancient house. And this Kaaba in the present day, this is not the complete ancient house. Rather, ancient house includes the Kaaba and the Hatim both. Because of the less money, they didn't complete the Kaaba on its original foundation. That's why Hatim is the representation of the remaining part. So you have to go outside the Hatim. Okay, and you do the tawaf in this manner. This is the proper tawaf. Okay, we go back to the 3-dimensional. So you do the tawaf in this manner. During the tawaf, of course, you come across the corner opposite to the corner of Hajar Aswad, what is called Rukn Yamani. Ruling about Rukn Yamani is that you touch it. If you are close enough to it, you touch it. Nothing, no saying, no takbir, no kissing. which many people do that out of their ignorance. Nothing is for the Rukn Yamani. All you do is that you touch if you are close enough to. There is no need to push and go close to it, but if you are there, then you do that. Between the Rukn Yamani and the Hajr Aswad, you make the dua, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. This is what is reported from Abdullah bin As-Sa'ib. Imam Ahmad recorded this, and this is from the authentic. This is the only place where this specific dua is narrated for during the tawaf. Otherwise, during the tawaf, there is no specific dua for any other spot or occasion. So this is the way you do that. Every time you reach in line with Hajr Aswad, you say Allahu Akbar. Okay. In the beginning, of course, you start with saying Bismillah, but otherwise, every time you will come in line with the Kaaba, then you say Allahu Akbar, and then you start the second. So in this manner, you do second, and then the third round, and these are the rounds of Ramal. Once you finish the rounds of Ramal, then you start at a slow pace, normal walking rounds. This is the round of normal walking, and you do 4 of these. Okay, I'll make it a little bit speedy because the time is less. Once you complete these 4 rounds, your 7 rounds are complete. So Ramal is only for the first 3 rounds, while Ittiba is for all 7 rounds, uncovering of the shoulder. Once you finish, then you approach Maqam Ibrahim. Maqam Ibrahim is one other thing which you have to realize, that you cover your right shoulder now, because the tawaf is finished, and for the prayer you must cover both the shoulders. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاتَّخَذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلَّى. Take the place of Ibrahim as a praying place. So you perform 2 rak'at, reciting Suratul Kafirun, Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun in the first rak'ah, and Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad in the second rak'ah. This is the sunnah. Having performed that, Jabir radiallahu anhu's report, he said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went back to the Hajr Aswad and he touched it before he went for the sa'i to As-Safa. So this is, if you are able to do that, usually the crowd is such that you are not able to do that. But if you are able to do that, you should go back to Hajr Aswad, touch it, and then you leave from there. It is also sunnah to have drink some zamzam after completing the tawaf, and in this way you complete your tawaf. The next step is the description of the sa'i, which will take a bit of time. So inshallah, I think the time is we have only 2-3 minutes left, so I leave it for the next week. I hope that the issues of the tawaf is clear. As I said, that it is a sunnah to drink some zamzam after completing the tawaf. A person can give an interval between the tawaf and the sa'i. They don't have to be strictly connected. If this is the tawaf al-qudum, if a person is performing ifrad or qiran hajj, then and he's not doing the umrah, then it is only tawaf he would perform, and after the tawaf he can relax. But a person who is performing the ifrad or qiran hajj can perform his sa'i of the hajj at this stage. This is something that is important to understand. For the person who is performing the tamattu hajj, he will have to perform the sa'i of the umrah. He will do the sa'i and he will trim his hair, and then he would exit the ihram. But the one who is doing the qiran or ifrad hajj, if he wants, he can do the sa'i of the hajj and umrah at this stage, because he is not going to exit the ihram. He'll stay in the state of ihram till he completes all the rites of hajj. So this is the time that you can, and this is also one of the things that you need to understand, that the rites, manasik of the hajj can be brought forward in this manner where the sharia permits. So a person can perform the sa'i at this time. Then when he performs the tawaf of the hajj, tawaf al-ziyara or tawaf al-ifada, after that he doesn't have to perform the sa'i again if he does at this stage. How much time do we have? 1 minute. Maybe I'll just show you the sa'i corridor in that time, just to become familiar. This is the mas'a, which is the sa'i corridor. This is the ground floor, and this is the upper floor. One thing that we need to know is that there are 2 places in this corridor where there is a green light post, which mark the area between the 2 green light posts, mark the area of Ramal. So Ramal is not only in the Tawaf, but Ramal is also done in the Sa'i, and the Ramal again here is the same, that you walk at a faster pace. Inshallah, we would give more detailed explanation of the Sa'i next week, as we are coming to the end of the program. Sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. Until next week, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
الحج أشهر معلومات فمن فرض فيهن الحج فلا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج. الحج أشهر معلومات فمن فرض فيهن الحج فلا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. أما بعد. Inshallah, this is the third of the series of program, how the Hajj and Umrah should be performed. What we have done so far is discuss all the rules and regulation as prerequisite to the Hajj and Umrah, and then the actual rites of Hajj and Umrah. And we have reached, last week I covered the issue of how the Tawaf should be performed. So inshallah we go further from the Tawaf, that once the Tawaf is performed, then the next thing one does is the Sa'i between the Safa and Al-Marwa. Before we go to the actual Sa'i, I want to just give a very quick overview of what is done after entering the Masjid Al-Haram. So if we look at a diagram of the Masjid Al-Haram itself, this is an aerial view of the Masjid Al-Haram. This is how it is geographically oriented if we look at the globe, as I've shown it before. The center of it is, let's have a close-up look, and you can see that the Kaaba in the middle. You start the Tawaf from the Hajar Aswad, where the red dot has appeared, and this is you doing the Tawaf. The Tawaf is, once the Tawaf is completed, then you head towards As-Safa, which is, that is where As-Safa is. And this long track which you are seeing from As-Safa leading, you will see that the Sa'i is done in this corridor. And this is the track, okay. So this is the Sa'i done in this corridor. This corridor is not part of the Masjid Al-Haram. So this is why the women who are in their menses, they can enter there and do the Sa'i if they have to, in certain situation. But they cannot go into the masjid, and this is why the Tawaf is exempted, and all the other rites can be done, including the Sa'i, because the Sa'i corridor, which is called Mas'a, is outside the area of the Masjid Al-Haram. So you go up from As-Safa towards Al-Marwa, and then you come back in that way to As-Safa. going from As-Safa to Al-Marwa is one side,